With their strong mix of leadership skills and extensive experience in political, legislative, and executive capabilities, these cabinet secretaries are very well equipped to mobilize the machinery of government, drive them to deliver services to the people of Kenya while steering inclusive development and economic growth that leaves no one behind. I wish to remind all of us that 2 years and 4 months ago, we secured our governing mandate based on an ambitious plan to propel our nation towards a prosperous future. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda is now well underway, with intensive and extensive work being carried out across the country in all priority value chains and cross-cutting enablers that constitute its strategic pillars. Thousands of new housing units are being built across Kenya, employing hundreds of thousands of people, facilitating transformative industrial growth in many supply chains in the construction sector, and providing opportunities for decent living conditions for millions of Kenyans eventually. It is also providing us with the opportunity to reduce on land fragmentation that is threatening our food security. On the other hand, productivity in agriculture and livestock has enabled sufficiency and self-sufficiency in critical crops, including maize and sugar, while community health promoters are actively delivering timely and quality primary health care services at the grassroots level as we make unprecedented strides in the universal health coverage plan. I therefore expect you to serve the people of Kenya with dedication, professionalism, fairness, and understanding. Specifically, to my 3 friends. We know each other very well, and we've come a distance together. And I know what you can do for not this administration, but for the people of Kenya. At the Ministry of Agriculture, which I have some experience, there is underway a major transformation, a shift from consumption subsidies to production support. I was very impressed to see the Honorable Kagwe take on the questions from members of Parliament with great understanding of where we want to go from here. And I am sure and confident that the transformation in the agricultural sector that is necessary from enhancing productivity, adding value to what we produce, and finding the routes to market for what we have produced is going to be front and center of your leadership of the team at the Ministry of Agriculture. The procurement of fertilizer has already been undertaken. I will look up to you for leadership on how this fertilizer is going to get to every farmer to make sure that we eliminate any impediments, any shortcomings, the correct fertilizer to the correct farmers. And we have already seen evidence of what making sure that fertilizer is available and affordable, the kind of difference it has made in the productivity of our farmers. I am also clearly aware that you will pick up on matters to do with livestock. We did commit to the dairy farmers, for example, that we will be paying a minimum of 50 shillings. That has been done over the last 6 months. I will look forward to your leadership in making sure that that moves forward. In tea, just to inform you that maybe your first call this afternoon, we have tea that is stuck at the bottom of Mombasa. And yesterday I was talking to your team at the Ministry of Agriculture. We need to find out what are the issues that is causing the clog-up of tea at the port of Mombasa. And the good news around that space is that we enhanced our earnings from tea this last year from 180 billion to 210 billion. And farmers are expecting us to look at the future, and they expect us to do better in the coming year. I have no doubt that you have what it takes to take that forward. My younger brother, Lee, as you may be aware, your ministry will be handling the opening of more markets. Apart from the market we just concluded in the UAE, we're now having a robust conversation with the United States. I had a meeting yesterday with senators from the United States and asking for their support, both on the extension of the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act, which you are very well aware about, that will continue to open markets for our goods and services to the United States on a duty-free and quota-free arrangement. I will be looking to your leadership for our team at the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry on concluding those negotiations and making sure that the AGOA market continues to be open, and also on concluding the discussions on the STEEP negotiations, the bilateral arrangement between Kenya and the United States. I will also be looking for your leadership in making sure that we take full advantage of the coming into force of the tripartite agreement between COMESA and EAC and SADC, which came into force 6 months ago, I think in June last year, and how Kenyan products can access the huge 1.4 billion African market. I will also be looking for your leadership in making sure that we conclude the 200 plus markets that we are building around the country, and working with devolved units, which fortunately you have been an executive in one of them, to make sure that our farmers have access to decent spaces for them to carry out their business. We did promise Mama Mboga that they are going to work from a space that has hygiene, that is decent, that has water, that has electricity, that has lighting. And already 200 of those markets are underway. We will be working with your ministry to make sure that we look at making sure that that market ecosystem reaches as many of our producers as possible. I will also be looking for your leadership in matters to do with processing of what the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock will be producing. You're aware, working with counties, we have 47 county aggregation and industrial parks. There is already a conversation between Government of Kenya and Government of India on how to equip those county aggregation and industrial parks and to establish common user facilities that will enable farmers and producers access to processing capabilities, value addition capabilities in that ecosystem. So there will be a full entry for you on how those will come into force. I will also be looking forward to you providing leadership on our special economic zones. As you're aware, we are establishing 6 new special economic zones in Dongo Kundu, in Sagana, in Thika, in Nakuru, both in Njoro and in Naivasha, in Eldoret, and in Busia. And just to give you a heads up, we will be in Busia on Wednesday, and probably you may want to find details of how that is going. I'm told it's going very well. But you will need to provide leadership in making sure that we conclude the first phase of all the special economic zones that we set out, because these are important for processing, value addition, agro business, and also providing opportunities for our young people to work. William, your hands are full. Because on your table you will find our connectivity plan. We made a commitment to roll out 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic across Kenya. We already have funding amounting to 48 billion to roll out the first 53,000 kilometers, and we intend to conclude that process of rollout before the end of next year. Working with KPLC, ICTA, and your ministry, you will find that there are already contracts that have been signed. You must walk the 53,000 kilometers and make sure that it's delivered. There's already funding for another 100 centers of excellence of our ICT hubs, 1 per county, and in other counties 2. This again, our plan is to make sure that it is concluded. These 100 centers of excellence, it's concluded in the next 6 months. You will find that the contracts have already been signed, and your leadership is required so that we can conclude this exercise. And again, you will find in your table another 1,450 ICT hubs, 1 in every ward in the Republic of Kenya. The members of parliament, the leader of majority is here, have already been primed. We have made resources available to them, but you will be required to provide the infrastructure, internet, make sure they are connected, you'll provide the computers, and you provide the people to train our young people in those ICT hubs. Good news also is that you will find on your desk that already the World Bank and the government of Kenya have provided resources for 145,000 computers for these ICT hubs. Communication Authority is providing the first 10,000 resources for the first 10,000. The World Bank is going to provide resources for 50,000 computers. And of course, the government of Kenya is going to provide resources for the balance. I will be looking to working with you to make sure that we conclude all these arrangements. If there are any loose ends to be tied. Teleperformance, the largest business processing outsourcing company in the world, is now setting up shop in Kenya. And it will be a good place for you to work with them, work with the others, CCI, Summersource, and all the other BPOs in Kenya. They have given us an undertaking that over the next 5 years, we should be able to have between 300,000 and 500,000 jobs created under the BPO ecosystem. We just need to tie up some loose ends. One of them, is to make sure that the legislative framework that did not recognize BPO as a sector, especially on matters to do with labor relations, is captured. Already a lot of work has been done. I think the Attorney General will brief you on what you need to do so that we can take steps to Parliament and properly recognize in our legislation the BPO sector as a sector that employs people. The current law only recognizes people employed on a permanent and pensionable basis with a letter of employment from somebody. This space operates differently, and therefore we need to capture it and to work towards making sure that we provide opportunities. Between the BPO sector, Waziri, and all the other online workers, our expectation is that we should be able to have at least 1 million, 1.5 million people working in that digital space. Already, a lot of work is going on in our TVETs. There are some already set up ICT hubs, and I'm very confident that under your leadership, we will be able to create the necessary environment for the young people of Kenya to take up their talents, their energy, and their expertise in the digital space to work, to create commerce, to do business, and to move forward. The digital and the ICT ecosystem is providing manufacturing capacity in manufacturing phones and other gadgets, and I will expect you to oversee what interventions and incentives government can provide for us to move into the future.